Welcome everybody to Football Chat 101. This week we are going to talk about the Champions League draw, and it's been a good last week of football, and we thought we'll focus on the new draw that's come out and a few of the results of the last week, and obviously that horrifying tackle we just want to touch on really quickly. Jack, your thoughts about any surprises that that went through in the results last week, or what do you think? Were all those results expected?
To be honest, the only results that surprised me a little bit were in Europa League. So I wouldn't say Champions League really surprised me too much. Juventus, maybe, that surprised me, them going out. But I think Europa League with Tottenham and Rangers actually going out, I think they're the two that surprised me. So yeah, I'd say they're the main ones actually this week. Yeah.
Yeah. Rangers I didn't follow that much. Tottenham was a real surprise for me because I didn't expect them to blow a 2-goal lead with Zagreb. Like, I thought that was like you could win it with your eyes closed. And to be fair, even the Arsenal game, it was really, really close. Had they not gone down to 10 men, had the opposite team not gone down to 10 men, I don't even remember the name. That's how insignificant the other team was. Olympiacos.
They're definitely not insignificant, mate. They won more Champions League.
No. I'm talking about compared. Yeah, but that's like saying I don't know, the British ruled India. We know that doesn't what they did then doesn't matter. It's a statement of fact, but I'm talking in today's context.
Right now, yeah.
And you're comparing them to Arsenal, and that's what I mean. Like, where's the Greek Football League versus them? And so it should have been really easy win for them. I don't know why they struggle so much. I think every time they're under pressure, they bottle it as well. But very, very surprising, a Mourinho team's conceding goals like the way they're doing. So Tottenham was a big surprise for me. I thought they'll struggle, but I did think they'll get through. Juventus, really surprising. I thought Ronaldo will bring his A game and they'll put it, but I have to say Morata was terrible. I couldn't believe how he was on the field. If Cristiano was in the same position and got the same balls that Morata was in, he would have scored
3 or 4 goals.
He would have scored 3 or 4. He didn't get many chances as well. But oh my God!
And Chiesa had a good game, but to be honest, he missed his opportunity.
He missed a fair few sitters. Like, he was.
Yeah, he played well and got himself into those positions, but he should have got a couple more goals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think to make it even more surprising, just touching back on the Tottenham game, because I've just thought Zagreb's coach has just gone to prison too. So he's literally just gone to prison. So they had no coach.
Yeah, wasn't it something silly like for?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it's an old charge, so it's 2018 or something, and he's now
some smuggling charge, like some mobile phone smuggling charge, something like that. I mean, like, that just shows you where that league and that club's at, and then to beat someone like Mourinho, who's won bloody Champions Leagues and all of that in the past, it's just ridiculous. It's just for me, it just shows how bad he is as a coach at the moment in the current state. But other than that, I think if you got to talk about the draws, it's a very, very interesting kind of draw. I feel like all the big power teams are on one side, and then there's all these sort of the easiest side on the, like, obviously anyone could win it because after this stage, all clubs that are in there, I mean, Porto is probably the least likely to win it, and then I would put Liverpool probably third, maybe because of how the history is with the thing. But normally they'd be first, but obviously, or maybe second after Bayern or something like that, but the history is so good with the Champions Leagues that in Europe that they could pull off a miracle or whatever. But you've got to put City favorites, don't you? What do you think?
To be honest, I'm gonna go with City as favorites as well. Like, I think it's a very hard draw for City and for Bayern. Being on the same side, so I think City against Dortmund is an interesting match. I think Haaland could end up going to City, so I think that makes it more exciting for like the neutral fans as well, because I think he could end up going there. A lot of talk about him going to United, but also he has, if we look back at an ancient interview, he's talked about hating Man United because of what they did to his dad. Now, I don't know if there's anything in that because you can never read to youth interviews, but Man City, his dad did play for Man City, so you never know. He could go there.
I mean, I can see him go to Al. I don't think he hates United particularly, because then why would he, like, he Solskjaer coached him at Molde and all of that. I don't think
exactly.
it's
that's
the question. But I don't see him going to United. Like it's a dud move for him, because he'd rather go to a team that is like right there, who can just straight win it with him in there. It's already a good team. With him, it goes a notch up. Like it's already a winning team, a Premier League winning team. And then if you go in, get him in, then it's going to be devastating to anyone else's title hopes. I think Chelsea is the most sort of has profited the most out of this draw, to be honest, because what is it? Chelsea, Porto in that second sort of round,
Chelsea,
and then
Chelsea, Porto,
and then Real Madrid and Liverpool. So you've got to think that Madrid or Liverpool will face Chelsea. I mean, that's what the favorites would think. Yeah,
I think Porto are going to beat Chelsea.
You think so?
I think Porto are in with a chance of getting to the final. And now, bear with me. I know it sounds like a weird call, but if we look at Porto's form in Portugal at the moment, they're amazing. They're playing beautiful football. We look at them in Europe; they've been playing beautiful football and beating everyone. So it kind of, I think it will do them a disservice to think that they're going to be beaten by Chelsea quite easily. I actually think they'll shut Chelsea out, and I think they'll go through. Whether they meet Real Madrid or Liverpool is going to be interesting, but I think they'll edge Chelsea out. I hope they edge Chelsea out personally, but
and obviously your money is on Liverpool, in terms of the Madrid-Liverpool game.
I think Liverpool have something to prove against Real Madrid after what happened, and especially Salah against Ramos. Salah will want to get back.
But then they did do that by winning it last year.
They did, but we didn't meet them in the final, did we? So, like we met them the year before, and we were looking good until Ramos decided to arm lock Salah and throw him into the ground. And yes, it was a deliberate tackle.
Liverpool fans are such cranky.
Oh, come on, man. You look back at it now and you'd be like, wow, that looks super deliberate. But anyway.
He didn't try and take his arm out. He must, even if it was a deliberate tackle, he was just trying to basically impede him. But, that's what happened as a result was whatever else happened. But I think that'll be a really interesting matchup. My money is also on Liverpool, but I've got some Liverpool fans who are saying it's going to be really hard because, and the reason I sort of choose Liverpool is one thing that Liverpool hasn't lost is the work rate, in terms of how much they run and all of that. And with Fabinho coming into the CDM role back again, it looks very stable. And for some reason, Real Madrid are very up and down. So if that the Real Madrid that's up rocks up, then Liverpool are in trouble. But if the other side of Real Madrid rocks up where they're terrible suddenly and they can't beat, the easy teams of their league, then you guys have a real good chance. But Liverpool, you're going to get the intensity and all of that. And I don't think Real Madrid will particularly enjoy the high press and the intensity. I think that's where they'll probably struggle a little bit. So that's my prediction there. But I think, I think Chelsea, Porto, like you said, I don't think it's going to be an easy game, but I don't see Tuchel losing games like these. I think he'll lose the opponents of his, like, obviously Porto and Chelsea are not the same size in terms of opponents. So if Porto beat Chelsea, it's going to be an upset, even though they're playing well and all of that. So what I think is, anytime a better or the same sort of size teams meet him, he's a bit more defensive and he tries to shore up his defense. And at the moment, and that's how he sort of, I think you beat him. But with the likes of Porto, I don't think he's going to concede that easily. So that's why I think Chelsea are going to, not because they can't score, it's because they're not conceding. And they have the attacking riches like no other club possibly in that whole division has at the moment. But, it's hard to bet all those players together. On the other side, Haaland, I think Dortmund will lose. I don't even think it's a no-brainer. But at the same time, Pep's record has been so bad. As much as I want to say City are favorites, I feel like he's going to do something stupid and like bring out a 3 at the back or something like that, like he always does. And I think he's going to bottle it. I don't know why, but I have this feeling that he's going to bottle it again. What do you think?
It's very rare you can say Pep's record's bad at anything, really.
But it's only knockout games.
I know what you mean in Champions League. Yeah, I know in Champions League he hasn't had the greatest record. So you're right. I think if there's an opportunity for City to win the Champions League, it is this year. If they don't this year, I don't know when they're going to win it. I mean, I think we've said that a few times but they've got Dortmund. I think on paper they should win that game. Then the game against Bayern and PSG, that's going to be a fantastic one to watch.
That's the best game.
Looking forward to
I'm
that.
looking forward to that.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll both be attacking. They're not the kind of coaches who will sit back and just let it go, you know. No. And I think that will be a great game to watch. Like I'm looking forward to it. So many good players out there on that field. And you know, it should be interesting. Hopefully it's not a stalemate and they just cancel each other out.
I don't think it'll be.
To be honest, with those kind of players, I doubt it.
Yeah.
And there's so many players who can turn that match. You know, you look at the amount of players who can turn that match, it's just brilliant. It's excites me so much because there's so many players, nearly everyone on the field, who can turn the game.
Yeah.
You know,
all match winners out there. Yeah. Attacking and defensive, both sides.
I was going to say, even the goalkeepers, you know, they can both pull out absolutely outrageous saves, and that will turn the game, you know. So I think that's a great one to get excited.
Fantastic watch. I think that's the one that's excited me the most, honestly. That's a fantastic game. I think a few months ago I would say Bayern are hands down the favorite, but I've seen something very different from both coaches. Really amazing. I've seen Flick play carefully when the stakes are high, as in he does still attack and the fullbacks still push up, but he's a little defensive, which is not bad for a knockout game. And on the other hand, something that I've never seen Pochettino do, counter-attacking goals, like trying and defending and hitting on people on the break. And I'm really, really surprised, and he's doing it really, really well. So I don't know if he's learned some new tricks in the trade and come back when he's coming to coach PSG, but that team's got so much pace and Mbappe and all of that with finishing and all of that. And I'm really, really excited for that game. I think it's going to be Bayern doing most of the possession work, but PSG will chase them down and all of that. So it'll be really interesting. I think who are you tipping to go ahead?
I tip. Sorry, go for it. Who you?
I think Bayern, but it's so close that I'm almost saying this with too much doubt. I wouldn't put money on it. That kind of like, you know, maybe Bayern will just edge it, but yeah, it's very close.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bayern, but again, PSG could just take it, and I think Mbappe, if he has a phenomenal game like he has quite often, you know, he could change it. Yeah. But then again, you look at the other side, and you look at Mbappe, and then you look at Lewandowski, and you're like, come on, so much quality on that field, so much quality up front, and you're kind of just, it's kind of waiting for moments of magic in that game, and that's what it's going to take. So we're looking forward to it. I mean, just thinking about heading back to the Real Madrid game, actually, I've just looked at an interesting thing. So the first leg's on the 6th of April. Then there's Barcelona versus Real Madrid on the 10th of April. The El Clasico, and it's a big game because Atletico is starting to fall off a little bit, and they're second and third, not that far behind, so it could be a huge game. Then the second leg is April the 14th, Liverpool versus Real Madrid, and Liverpool haven't got a game that weekend from what I've seen, so that's a huge draw for them. That's 3 big games within a week.
It's a big game. Yeah, I agree.
So that could affect them, but we'll wait and see. I mean, I think, you know, looking at Real Madrid, what they're the kings of Europe in terms of wins. You know, what is it, 13? Is it? No one's anywhere near them, but also Zidane's the king of Europe. Really, the way he's coached it, and he's won it so many times. But
I mean, I don't think he's a great coach, but he's just somehow he just pulls the rabbit out of the bag every time there's a Champions League. So I mean, sometimes you got to give him props. I think but to be honest, I think he only did it because of Ronaldo. To be really, really honest, I think I know he didn't do as well in the finals, but to drag them up until the finals, it was always, he played like a man possessed all the time. And that whole season, even when he won it was because of him, in my opinion. Like I'm talking about the La Liga when he came back and all of that. Then it was Barcelona falling off a cliff. So he's sort of winning things, yet I don't think he's like an A-grade top coach, which is really weird. But he's won more than like a lot of the other top coaches have. Another thing is, how interesting will it be if, say, you know, I know, shot in the dark, but how interesting will it be if, say, a Pochettino wins it after the whole label of not having trophies and this and that? How much more of a big thing will it be? Because I know French League's probably getting away, but he might still get there because, you know, it's the French League. And then if he wins the Champions League, this will be like Spurs fan will, I don't know, if I was a Spurs fan, I would be crying anyway because of what I'm seeing at the moment with my club. But if he wins that, then I'd be thinking something else. I mean, I'd be thinking, what if that same money Mourinho got was given to Pochettino before we decided to kick him out and stuff like that? And on the other hand, another interesting story will be what if Chelsea win it? Because the only reason Tuchel got kicked out was the whole thing what the champion like these clubs won the PSG won the Champions League so bad, and if Tuchel wins it with Chelsea, that's going to be a really, really big blow for them as well. I don't know, they might, but sometimes it just never works. But those two stories will be great in terms of if that happens. Long shot, 100%. But yeah.
No, I'm still hoping on Liverpool, because what Klopp's been at Liverpool, this is his 5th year. In the 1 year he didn't get to a European final, so he went to the Europa League final, then 2 Champions League finals in a row, then he won the Premier League. I'm hoping this year he's not going to win the Premier League again, obviously, so I'm hoping we've got another European League European final in front of us, but we'll wait and see.
Wait and see.
It's a long way to go, and we've got a very inexperienced backline, so we'll have to wait and see. But it's going to be interesting, I think, either way, to see what happens.
I thought Van Dijk will be back by that time, but we discussed I think about 2 months ago or something, about now, that we thought because he was doing his training routine and he was putting up stuff on Insta, but now they're potentially out for the whole of Euro 2020 as well, which means he's not going to be back, which is really a big blow, because
big blow.
That means you have to finish the season without either of those 2 defenders, which means that's scary, to be honest. That's because then you're also basically jeopardizing your top 4 hopes, which would have been much stronger had he been back. And on top of that, you're adding the extra pressure of the Champions League games as well, because these guys are new. They haven't played that much either. There's a good chance that you don't have any backups anyway. If these guys go down, then you got Fabinho back in the back line, which further weakens your side, if anything. So, it'll be an interesting few weeks. Also, really quickly, Man United Milan game, it was a very boring sort of 2 legs and whatnot. But finally, I thought he'll bottle it, because Man United have bottled it so much in big games. But this season he's won, I guess, out of all the big games, he's won 2 big games. The Man City one was a big game. He's won it, which he normally bottles. He's won the big game with Milan now, and I think they were the other favorites to win the Europa League this season. So it'll be really interesting to see if he actually goes ahead and wins a final, if he wins a trophy. Because if he doesn't win a trophy, for me, I mean, it's arguably still a successful season, because if he ends up in second, but if he doesn't end up in second and he comes up anything but second, like third or something, and he doesn't win a trophy, for me, it's not a successful season. So, I mean, that's just my opinion as a fan, because I think they're staying where they are, and when you stay where you are, you basically go down. That's my whole thing. You have to go up, or and I don't feel like he can challenge for the title next season because of his own limitations as well. He loves to play the whole McSauce thing is just ridiculous. I don't know what is wrong with him in terms of playing McTominay and Fred. I don't know what he gets in return. The whole joke about them having his nudes and all of that is just ridiculous, but it just happens again.
McTominay scored your goal though, didn't he? Wasn't he the one who scored?
No, it was Pogba.
Oh, I thought he scored.
It was Pogba.
All right,
Pogba came in after the first half and then scored. So
all right, fair enough. I only saw the brief highlights at the end there. I didn't really see too much of that match, unfortunately.
No, I didn't. I to be honest, if I wasn't a United fan, I would never even think of watching that fan. Just knowing both the kind of football both play. I think I
couldn't turn the Rangers game off, mate. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I turned that game on and I was like, whoa, how many red cards are we going to see? How many goals? What's going to happen?
Yeah. Shame, right? Like lower league teams in terms of how interesting they are beating the big teams and the big coaches in terms of, a good watch is what you call it. And that's what got United so many fans in the past, or any other club as well. Like that's what gets fans on board because it's a good watch. And you're taking that away. You're sucking the joy out of football for many old fans and also the newbies who want to come to the game. I fell in love with football because of that exciting brand of football. If when I started watching football as a kid, if I saw this brand of football that I experience now with Man United and the Mourinho style and whatever, I probably would have never been a football fan. I would have never liked the game. you know. So it's interesting.
Like if you were watching Premier League sides now and you were a young kid, I think a lot of the time you'd look towards those attacking sides. You look towards your Liverpools, you look towards your Man Cities, you'd look towards your Leicester. You know, they must be winning a lot of young fans around the world.
Yeah, which is great
and
for
just
them.
seeing a different brand of football, and that's good. Like, it is good because it needs to spread a little bit more.
Yeah,
well, maybe not so good for us because we've already got enough fans.
No, you guys have enough fans in Liverpool, and but that's why they want to make up with the revenue with other things. But whereas Man United sort of get revenue for free from the amount of fans around the world, the international appeal, really. I think that's what other teams miss. And the only reason they had that is because they grew in that they dominated the era when the Premier League became big. So it sort of collided with the whole rise of international sort of status to the Premier League when Man United won the top. Had that been another team, had that been Liverpool, City, Chelsea, whoever else, then they would be what Man United is in terms of stature internationally today. Probably saved us from being bought by the Glazers, but then someone else would have done it anyway. But you know, but really looking forward to the next few games. I know there's a few weeks off football, so we'll focus on other stuff. Next week we have a few topics that we'd like to debate. Like we're thinking of talking about the next gen, the post Messi Ronaldo gen, and really diving into whether it's going to be Neymar was a flop show, so I'm going to leave him aside. I think we both are. We're going to talk about Mbappe or Haaland, because they look like the ones who could take up the mantle. There's a few new exciting kids coming as well that we can just really briefly touch on. And that's what we'll look for topics after. So if you guys have anything that you would like to hear, even outside the teams and the games and everything, please feel free to share, put down in the comments, and we'll have a good bit of debate against us, because we do have conflicting opinions a lot of the times, and it's good to sort of see where the rest of our heads are at. So please feel free to like, share, subscribe as usual, and we'll catch you guys soon. Thank you, everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.